Thank you for joining us for 12 News at 4. I'm Troy Hayden.
And I'm Tram Mai. New developments in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance now on day 25. Today, we saw an increase in law enforcement presence outside of her Catalina Foothills home.
We know federal prosecutors were also there on site. 12 News journalist Sean Rice is live in Tucson. All right, what do we know about these developments, Sean?
Yeah, Troy and Tram, good afternoon to you both. It had been over a week since we've seen a law enforcement presence of any kind in or outside Nancy Guthrie's Catalina Foothills home. But this morning, that all changed when we saw multiple investigators. I would estimate just less than a dozen investigators show up in unmarked SUVs, many of them donning suits. They got out of those cars and inspected both the inside and outside of her home. Of course, we're on day 25, so over 3 weeks after her disappearance. Now, a source with knowledge of what took place this morning tells me that federal prosecutors with the U.S. Attorney's Office were here on site this morning. When I asked what they were doing, I was told that they were doing, quote, standard legal advising to the FBI. Now, let's take you to some video of what this looked like. We saw vehicles arrive at around 9:30. They didn't depart this area until well after noon, I would say about 12:30. We first saw them walk up to the entryway of her Nancy Guthrie's home. This is, of course, where we saw a masked man appear on security camera footage from the morning Nancy Guthrie disappeared. We saw some of these people in suits take pictures of the area right in front of her house before they made their way all the way around it. They inspected the backyard, both side areas of the home, even a casita area that's just adjacent to her main residence. Now, this increase in activity comes just one day after Savannah Guthrie posted a video offering a reward of up to $1 million for any information that brings her mother home or helps investigators find the person or people responsible for her mother's disappearance. In a high-profile case like this one, it is not uncommon for prosecuting attorneys to want to see the site of a crime. Josh Colesrud, former prosecutor from the Valley, tells me he's done it countless times in his career.
I would train my prosecutors when I was a senior trial prosecutor to always go to the crime scene. In fact, I would say that it's malpractice not to go to the scene of the crime to see what's going on. And, you know, you would expect to see the prosecutors at the scene of the crime right now because you want them there before it becomes stale. That is, you know, it's already been 3 weeks. You know, how long does it take before you get your prosecutors out there? I mean, you want them out there as soon as possible once they figure out that this is the crime scene.
And back out here live, of course, the question on everybody's mind who's been following this case closely is, because prosecutors were here this morning, does that mean that an arrest in this case may be imminent? Josh Colesrud cautioned me today. He said that these prosecutors at the federal level were likely just wanting to get a lay of the land. He said he does not believe, from everything he's seen released publicly, that an arrest may be on the horizon. Of course, what they're likely trying to do is just see the crime scene, because they're going to have to present evidence in a courtroom in the future if they do catch the person responsible. We'll send it back to you.
You know, Sean, this is interesting because I feel like this is something that we don't see very often. So is this whole, you know, standard legal advising to the FBI, is that something that is just reserved for these high-profile cases?
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, what I have seen in other cases locally is I've seen local county attorneys show up to scenes of crime. The one that jogs my mind the most was the disappearance of Emily Pike, a young San Carlos Apache teen who disappeared and was later found dismembered in Gila County. I personally saw the Gila County attorney on a day a search was being conducted where she was found, show up to that crime scene, take pictures, do whatever they needed necessary to just see the scene of any crime scene. I suspect even a high-profile case like this one, with likely federal charges happening, that's likely what's going on here.
That Emily Pike case still isn't solved either.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, Thank you for that. As we continue to follow this case, download the 12 Plus streaming app to see our latest coverage and any breaking updates, again, on this case.